Hello, everyone. This is John Byrne, and we are here with Fridays with Sandy Kreisberg. There he is on the top of your screen.
Shalom, everybody. Happy February, and hello.
The great reader of tea leaves at Harvard Business School, among others. And we have a candidate who is, my goodness, 4.0 GPA in a STEM field, chemical engineering no less, at a world-class place to get an engineering degree, California Institute of Technology, CalTech. And now I bow in being totally impressed.
760 GMAT.
760 GMAT. Okay, and she did an intern last summer at Novartis as a process science engineer. Novartis, everybody knows, it's a great company. And she's a 2+2 candidate for Harvard, Stanford, MIT Sloan, and Columbia Business School. Now we're going to do a combined handicapping and mock interview, right, Sandy?
Yeah, the handicapping part, man, we've got a woman, we've got a 4.0 from CalTech, a 760, we've got a STEM major. You know, I think your chances of getting interviewed even though 2+2 is a very selective, sometimes lottery-like program, I think your chances of being interviewed are excellent. So that ends the handicapping part.
Look, you should walk into all these schools, frankly. That's what I think.
Well, I believe you'll be interviewed by all these schools.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of people rejected from 2+2 programs you would not believe. But so if I think the interview is going to be the hardest part for you, Amy, and it's also everything else is done sort of.
And here's the other thing. Amy looks short, but she played varsity basketball. So you're probably a lot taller than we think you are, right?
A little, maybe.
I'm going to leave that one alone. I think the important thing is you were the captain of the team, right?
So I was captain of the tennis team in high school, but
tennis team. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Let's do the mock interview. Very often they say, very frequent mock interview question for 2+2 people. Just tell me about your decision to go to CalTech.
Sure. So what's interesting is I was actually rather hesitant to go to CalTech at first because I was fearing the large workload and how when I visited, it seemed like students were very stressed from it. But then after my CalTech basketball recruiting trip, then I met the people and I got to know the house system, which is kind of like Hogwarts from Harry Potter, and knowing the great research opportunities as well as the very tiny size. I felt like it was an opportunity that I just couldn't pass up.
Well, what other schools were you thinking about?
Yeah, so I was also considering Princeton and Berkeley.
Do you have any regrets?
Not at all, actually. I find that the experience was 4 of the hardest years I've ever experienced, but also the most fulfilling.
Good.
And Amy, you were recruited as an athlete then, huh?
Yeah. So for basketball at CalTech, they don't recruit like they do at other schools where we get more help or like a better likelihood of getting in per se. It's more like they try to teach us more about the program in order to convince us to apply and go. So
you weren't recruited, you were sold. They were selling, not recruiting, right? Good. What was unexpected when you got there? Famous question.
Yeah, so what's unexpected is that people at CalTech work hard, but they perhaps play even harder. So with the house system, we have like really fun traditions and pranks. So in fact, when I was like added into the house I currently am in, they had this big like prank where they pretended like we were at a formal dinner, but then it turned out to be a big event where
prank?
they, oh yeah, so they pretended to have like upperclassmen fight, and then to show that like get us like kind of scared about the house from the stereotype. But then in the end, they reveal that it was all an act. So that was pretty funny.
Okay, now Sandy, is that a good answer?
No.
Okay.
Here's what I would say. I wouldn't talk about undergraduate pranks. I would say, I expected an incredibly rigorous academic experience, and I certainly got that. But what I didn't expect is to forge strong, deep relationships with my classmates and the other students.
Mhm.
And I was able to do that through this house thing. But I wouldn't.
That's not an answer either.
Oh.
Question to what was unexpected is, it's like they're interviewing you 3 days later or a week later after you've, you know what I mean? The question is, if I spoke to you 5 days after you started CalTech and said what's different than you expected, what would your answer be?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so my apologies. So I would say that it would probably be like how friendly and down to earth everyone was. So I was pretty intimidated at first, thinking that everyone would be smarter than me, but everyone's really easy to talk to.
Good. Yeah, that's an acceptable answer. Is there anything unusual about the geography where people came from? Are there a lot of people from outside California?
There's a decent number. I'd say much of the population is from California, but there are some international students who I'm friends with too.
Yeah, well, the good answer, if it's true, is what I hadn't expected was there were a lot of kids from the East Coast, or a lot of kids from international students. That's an acceptable answer if it's true. And you point out that the professors were friendlier. Professors were accessible. They were accessible. I wouldn't call them friendly, but they were accessible. Good. What was your favorite course?
My favorite course was a chemical engineering design. So even though this was remote and technically a lab, it was really exciting because I had to identify with my lab partner a safety need in consumer goods, and then create our own device or a product to meet this need. And then we had to also pitch this project. And so I learned a lot about how to present something in the business world, as well as like test my creativity.
All right. The way you answer a question is like a scientist. You spit out all the granular data first, and then you make a conclusion. What you got to do is make the conclusion first and then give the data. This is my favorite course because we combined doing a project and presenting it to others and trying to sell it. Whatever the accurate version of this, that should be the first thing out of your mouth. I always say this: answer the question immediately. Just get to the bottom line, first line.
Give the headline, not the body copy.
There you go. Yeah. Okay, well, let's try that again. Hey, what was your favorite course?
My favorite class was chemical engineering design, where I learned how to present a product that I had to create out of my own imagination about what the business world may need. And so this involved creating a device from home materials such as gelatin or Play-Doh, which was part of the fun as well.
Good. You see, that's a much better answer, right? John thinks so. Yeah, it is. That's a million times better answer. Like, that's real interesting. What did you create?
Yeah, so it was called microfluidics. So basically using a substrate or like and a mold to make fluids flow through, and it was basically a proof of.
This is a consumer product. You're not selling me on it.
Yeah, sorry. So it's like
what is it? A consumer product. It's like this is colored Ready Whip. The whipped cream, we had it in red. That's a consumer product.
Yeah, or it was like a device to test the safety of a consumer product. Yeah.
Okay.
So
well, I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah, that was clear. Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't clear until you just told me.
I agree. Totally.
Okay, I don't want to get you nervous. That's deadly. all right? In terms of getting interviewed.
Uh-huh.
Look, you're a brilliant candidate. They'll turn you down. They'll say, we'll pick her up in 3 years, 5 years. When she, becomes a little better at self-presentation. Why did you go to Edinburgh for
Yeah,
a year abroad or a semester abroad?
I've always wanted to study abroad because I really like international experiences. And so I chose Edinburgh in particular because I saw that the landscape was incredibly beautiful and the academics offered classes that were counting like in my major, but also quite interesting that like they weren't offered at my school. And also I heard that the people there were incredibly like kind, and anyone you meet will be very friendly.
All right, Amy, grade that answer. You're a smart kid.
Yeah, I could tell that I was failing in the middle.
You don't be afraid to be obvious. University of Edinburgh, they've got a program with CalTech. I know people who did your program. Those people raved about it. They said this and this. I looked into it. I was taken by this and this. Guy did a dog and pony show on campus, and I spoke to him afterward. And whatever it's true about that. Did you know anyone who did the program?
Yeah, I had a few friends.
Lead with that, man, right?
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, you just said something I think that's really important. It's okay to say what's obvious.
Okay.
Because often what's often obvious is also direct and precise.
Yeah.
You need to be in these interviews.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotta be more direct.
Hey, Sam, would anyone ever ask, okay, you got a 760 and a 4.0. You must be really smart. How many times did it take the GMAT to get that 760? Would anyone ask that?
No, they would never ask that.
No?
I think how many times you've taken the GMAT is on the app, isn't it?
I guess they know. They know by the
Isn't that a question on the application?
Is it a question? I don't know.
That's an interesting question, but they wouldn't. I don't think they'd ask.
Yeah.
What role do you play on? Yeah. What would your teammates say about you as a player on the basketball team?
Yeah, my teammates would say that I lead with positive attitudes.
Are you the captain or just a member?
Just a member for the basketball team.
Yeah. Okay. So what would your teammates say about you as a player? Okay, just between me and you. Do you play a lot, or are you a bench warmer, or what?
Pretty bench warmer.
All right. Well, let's get off of that then. Okay. Creator of A#. What is that?
Yeah, so it's a YouTube channel that aims to help people, international fans, learn about Korean pop. And so essentially, I came up with this idea with my sister because we love singing, but we cannot sing in the Korean language. And we thought other people would like to do this as well. So we create karaoke videos as well as sing these covers. And fans comment all the time about how thankful they are that they have our content.
32,000 subscribers.
And Korean pop songs that are sung in Korean to English, right?
Yeah, yes, I still don't understand what it is, but I'm impressed. You've got to get that. Let's start over. What is A#?
A# is a channel that has karaoke and cover videos of Korean pop songs that are translated into English with lyrics that are easy to understand as well as singable. And
by you and your sister, or by other famous people?
So just by my sister and I, we sing the songs and we create the karaoke videos ourselves, as well as writing the lyrics.
Still haven't got it. You got to go. It's a channel that my sister and I started. The mission of the channel is to do what with Korean pop songs?
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, the mission of the channel is to help international fans understand and be able to sing Korean pop songs from the translations in lyrics that have written in English. So yeah, the original song is in Korean, but we write English lyrics using the translation so people can sing them.
My sister and I translate Korean pop songs into English so other Koreans who don't, Asian Americans and others who don't know Korean can sing along. Did I miss anything?
That's it. I think there are two things you missed that Amy also missed. I think you want to mention it's a YouTube channel.
Yeah, well, I was.
And I think you want to mention that you have 33,000 subscribers.
Yeah, but first let's explain it. Just what is A sharp? Yeah, what is A sharp? It's a YouTube channel that I founded with my sister. The mission is to translate Korean pop songs into English to enable people to sing along with the Korean songs in English. Is that correct, Amy?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, that's the way you got to do it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's very clear.
Why'd you call it A sharp?
So my sister and I, both our names start with the letter A, and yeah, we wanted it to do with music too. So we basically thought A sharp as a pun to be like, oh, we don't want to be flat.
Those are some great puns. I don't think too many people will get it, but I like it as a private joke. Okay, but then the next bullet you had is led collaboration promoting women empowerment across 6 countries, coached artists and music producers. Huh? What does that mean?
Yeah, so I started this project to again translate, but sing this song. This time it's in the Indian. It's from India, so
I'm lost already, Amy.
okay. Let me try again. So basically, I got together many different YouTube artists and producers from 6 countries to collaborate on this song called Singa Pinne, which is a song from India that we also translated into English, and we sang this song.
So this bullet, what it really means is took a famous song, that whatever it is, and worked with collaborators to translate it into English. So took this famous song about women's empowerment, took You Go Girl, okay, and translated it into English so other people could sing along with it. Is that right?
Yes.
You redo your resume, you understand?
Okay, yeah.
You see, that's technically not a bullet, that's something underneath. Let's just take some time here because it's worth it in terms of resume writing. Creator of A Sharp YouTube music channel. What you need there is colon and a generic description of A Sharp. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
And then under that, that would include the first bullet you've got there. It created A Sharp, a channel about women's empowerment, blah, 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 blah. That would be the first line. And then you'd have bullets. You promoted this famous song, and then you did blah and blah. So it would be a generic description of A Sharp with 3 bullets under it, or 2 bullets. That's the way a resume works.
Okay, I see.
That's the way to organize it.
Okay, yeah, I see. I suppose my hesitation was about like encapsulating the little details that aren't like what the channel does overall, but yeah, I understand what you're saying.
All right, let's not get hung up on that. Give me a roadmap. This is a famous 2+2 question. Give me a roadmap of what you plan to do after Harvard Business School.
So after Harvard Business School, I hope to start a managerial role in business and strategy development at a biotechnology company. I want to go back in STEM because of my past experiences in biotech and to use those schools from HBS. And then as far as going
what
into—
companies do you like? That was okay, that's a good answer, okay? You answered the question immediately. After Harvard Business School, I want to go into a managerial role in biotech. That's perfect. Okay. Then they often interrupt. They'll say, "What are some biotech companies you admire and why?"
Yeah, so first of all, Novartis has a special place in my heart from this past experience, as well as Johnson & Johnson. So when I did investigation into them, all the people who I spoke with, they talked about how on a daily basis they were motivated by the work they were doing since it connected so strongly back to the people they were helping.
I think most biotech company employees could say that.
That's true.
And I didn't even know Johnson & Johnson had I'm not surprised, but I didn't even know they had a biotech function.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer the question, you have to say, I like the AZ group at Johnson & Johnson. They're a biotech company within Johnson & Johnson. It's run by Jack and Jill, and I like them because of this and that.
Mhm.
Can you do it that way? So what's another biotech company you like besides Novartis?
I also like Pfizer. So
No,
this is,
do the Johnson & Johnson example.
J&J. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, so I also like the pharmaceutical division within Johnson & Johnson because when I was researching about their group, I learned from the current employees there about how on a day-to-day basis they were.
Pharmaceutical division doesn't ring biotech to me. It rings pills.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
The J&J vaccine for COVID has just been approved.
I'm glad to hear
out of their biotech division.
So it's interesting because we rather use it sort of interchangeably. I'm not sure how it differs between some people, but yeah, that's the way I understand it.
Okay, what's another? You should go into this interview with this in your pocket. The names of 3 or 4 biotech companies you admire and why. The names of 3 or 4 leaders in the field, particularly women leaders, and what you admire about them. Okay, that's just some homework, very important homework, because those questions come up all the time.
Okay.
So let's go back to the roadmap. What would you like to do after Harvard Business School?
So after Harvard Business School, I would like to start in a managerial role in business and strategy development at a biotechnology company, such as Novartis, where I worked with previously. And into the future,
Does Novartis hire people from Harvard Business School?
I think I've seen it on.
They do.
Oh man, you got to know this. Don't they have a rotational leadership program?
I'm sorry, the question was about if they have a rotational leadership program.
Yeah. Or if they
MBA.
hire people. You really got to look. That's more homework. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You know, after Harvard Business School, what I'd like to do is join the Novartis rotational leadership program, or Novartis hires 4 to 5 people a year from Harvard Business School, and they get put into various functionalities like this, and this. You really got to sound like you know about it and you're interested and you're passionate.
Okay, sure.
And then what's another company you admire?
Another company I admire is Pfizer. So I've spoken with a CalTech alum who works there, and he's actually more involved in the science aspect of it. But I'd say like this is probably true of like you mentioned, most biotech companies, but to be very passionate about the day-to-day work and like just like how Pfizer was.
How does he describe the culture?
He describes the culture as quite collaborative. So although Pfizer is a very large group, within his group that he leads, the people are extremely collaborative and basically all have a positive attitude in terms of what their mission is on a day-to-day basis.
Where do you see yourself in like 30 years? Who's someone you would want to be in 30 years?
Someone I
25
see
years, at the height of your career.
Sure. So I know this CalTech alum who's a director at Regeneron, pharmaceuticals right now. And basically what she's doing is working a strategy to coordinate with R&D and oversee many of the processes. So I hope in that position to work with more international companies.
I have no idea what you're talking about. You got to run that down. Is she a board member, or
Her title
has
is
she got a
director.
title? Is she the VP for this? The answer is, I admire Jill Jones, who's the CEO of Acorn. You know, they're the leading biotech company in innovative reproductive technology. I'd like to be like Jill. How about that for an answer?
Okay, sure. So
That's a
I
good
guess
answer.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, so like director isn't specific enough. I should say,
Yeah, director means she's on the board. That's what John, isn't that what you
Yeah.
thought?
She means that's her title, Director of R&D. Is that correct?
yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
All right.
So usually, when you hear the word director, board of directors, you immediately assume that they're sitting on the board of the company. But you mean
Oh,
director of R&D at a company that's highly influential, doing really meaningful work.
okay.
That's it.
Okay, Amy, you're a 5-star talent. All right. And I expect you to be interviewed by both Stanford and Harvard and Wharton. And hope the takeaway here is just try and, as John says, give us the headline and then the body. It's very hard, but you have to stop. When you ask a question, think of the headline. Don't drop a lot of crumbs and say, now I'm on the way to grandma's house and I'm going to keep dropping crumbs and we're going to get. Okay.
Look, you got everything it takes to get that interview, and you want to make sure that your answers are concise and relatively brief and understandable, because your engineering background, I think, as is often the case with engineers, sometimes it's not as linear sometimes, right?
Yeah. Hope to see you in Cambridge, John.
Yes, indeed. Good luck to you, Amy. You've got what it takes. Just get a crisper delivery and you're going to be in great shape. Meanwhile, Sandy, thank you once again. And for all of you out there, thanks for watching. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. You've been watching Fridays with Sandy.